Hi there. I see a lot of you on social media sort of looking around and saying, what is this negativity? Why is everybody grumbling and complaining and whining? Why can't you all be a little positive? Take it easy, man. Right? Take a chill pill, go watch a show, go read a book. And I want to say, what is wrong with you? That's called toxic positivity. Let's talk about it today. What is this toxic positivity? We've all heard of positivity. Be cool, take things on the chin. Keep things moving along, pick up and don't sit there and grumble, right? We've all had it said to us, we've probably all said it to somebody, and it is damn annoying, right? There's nothing worse than when you're like sort of just completely defeated, sitting on the low, and people say, come on, cheer up, go meditate, go run, go do something, your life will become better. And the worst part is now people are saying it to those who have lost like 4 or 5 family members in the last couple of weeks, who've been running around from hospital to crematorium to oxygen queues. And it's absolutely ridiculous to go to somebody who has been through something like that and say, come on, cheer up. I mean, seriously, how are they supposed to cheer up? I mean, it's possibly the worst advice you could give somebody. What is toxic positivity? Toxic positivity is basically this enforced belief that people should be positive all the time, that you have to be in your worst situation looking at the bright side. And in fact, it can be quite detrimental. What are the ways in which it can be detrimental? Let me tell you an Akbar Birbal story. Okay, so you've probably heard that story where Birbal tells Emperor Akbar that all you have to do today is not think of mangoes. And Emperor Akbar says, sure, that's easy enough. And he goes through his day and he realizes that all he can think about are mangoes. He simply cannot get it out of his head. This is a principle known as thought suppression. Thought suppression is the principle that the more you try to push a thought away, the higher it is going to rise. Right? Which basically means that if you tell yourself to stop thinking about something, you're never going to be able to stop thinking about it. So, what do you do with these thoughts that keep coming up? How do you deal with toxic positivity? The first thing to do is allow the thoughts to come up. If you are concerned about the state of the economy, about the pandemic, about the lack of access to oxygen, of the shortage of medicines, of hospital beds, allow yourself to feel the fright. The more you push it down, the bigger the monster is going to become. Sit down and worry. Seriously, allocate yourself a worry time. When you sit down and worry, you're going to be spending, say, 15 minutes, 20 minutes thinking about it. Compare that to taking this worry and spreading it across all your day, allowing it to interfere with everything that you do. Once you allocate a time to worry, you would have confronted the situation as it is. Yes, there is shortage. Yes, there are things that are not available. Once you are able to see a situation, this is what the Buddha called yata bhuta jnana dasana. That is, there is seeing things as they really are and not as you wish them to be. Only when you see things as they really are, and this is also in the Bhagavad Gita known as Sakshi Bhava, okay, where Lord Krishna, I think it's in chapter 5 or 6, verse 17, he basically says, you have to see action. You have to see action, you have to see non action, you have to see inaction also. You have to know reality. If you don't know reality, you're really going to be stepping your foot into it. We've all seen the ways in which people who live in denial are detrimental not only to themselves but to thousands of others. You have Vijay Mallya, who could not pay his employees their salaries, throwing a birthday bash in which he basically invited top pop stars from all over the world. You have somebody like Subrata Roy Sahara, even when SEBI sort of called him in for questioning, his only reaction to the press at that time was, they didn't even serve me tea. Because these people were completely blind in, sort of sitting in denial and not seeing the reality of where they were. They created so much turmoil, not just for themselves but for others. There were many people who, just could not, even employees who could not even get salaries. There were so many poor who had invested with that chit fund situation and never got all their paltry savings back. So it's a really sad situation when somebody is unable to see reality as it is. As Jiddu Krishnamurti says, right, it is not a sign of an aligned mind to, be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. So you have to see the sickness, you have to see the illness. If you have fractured your foot, you can't walk around saying, oh, I don't want to think about the pain. You have to say, look, my foot is fractured. Yes, I have this illness. Let me see what needs to be done. Let me go to a doctor. Let me get the medication. Let me sit down and cry about this, because I do have feelings. And the more I push down those feelings, the more they're going to come up. You're going to find that they don't come up directly, but they come up in insidious ways. So let's say I have a particular illness, or I have a fractured foot. Let's just take the example of a fractured foot. I go to the park and I'm sitting there, and I'm just sitting there and getting angrier and angrier at all the people who are walking about, because I can no longer do that for myself. And I've told myself I'm perfectly fine with my foot being fractured. But look at those people, so irresponsible. They should be at work. Why are they out at a park? Why is that woman so fat? So much she walks, and then also she's not lost weight. All these negative comments start coming up. Where do they come from? They come from not accepting the reality of your situation, of where you are. So there's no point telling others to be positive when you're sitting in that situation completely blind, completely deluded, completely not reading the situation. Why is reading the situation according to reality very crucial? Think of it like a pressure gauge, right? There's a pressure gauge on a boiler. If the gauge is broken, then you're not really getting the correct reading, but you think that everything is fine. And the more you think that everything is fine, the more likely it is that one day it's all going to blow up in your face. This is something that happens often with people, especially with regards to finances. The debts mount up, the loans mount up, the credit card dues mount up, and they keep telling themselves, I'm going to manage. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You know what? Maybe it's not going to be okay. Maybe you need to panic right now. Okay, so panic is a good thing. Thinking, oh shit, this is all going to blow up in my face, is a good thing sometimes. Let your anxiety rise, deal with your anxiety, but please do not sit there and be toxically positive. And worst of all, don't tell others to be toxically positive. See, okay, I hope this helps you out, and I hope to see you soon, hopefully with positivity and not toxic positivity.